Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome back to 10 Count. I'm Steve Alt, but on today's edition, I better watch out because I don't want to cross somebody. It's Diener from Impact Wrestling. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Steve. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this. You got a lot of energy, man.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I got to match your energy right now. I've had a long weekend of wrestling shows, and I'm a little bit tired. But now, just listening to the introduction, my energy level's coming up. So I'm ready for this chat. Thanks,
I
Steve.
was going to say, I had a baby about 2 months ago. I got two other kids upstairs. Somehow the energy is pumping through my body, unlike what might be the blood of someone that you recently interacted with in a bit of a prison fight with your former colleague, former leader of Violent by Design. And now
Mm-hmm.
you got the design. You're the
Mm-hmm.
leader. Now, first off,
Yeah.
before we move on, what was the creative behind this idea of I'm going to take out the former leader and take over? Was this always kind of in motion?
It was not always in motion. No. Um, but the when we knew that we had to evolve the group and evolve the members, what was going to happen. It was a creative idea that came up, and when the idea was presented to myself and Eric, we realized this is the absolute best idea we've ever heard. And man, it actually tells the story, the 2 year story arc of my involvement with Violent by Design, my involvement with Eric Young, and how we wanted to move forward. Oh man, there's no better way to end this because there's so much emotion and story
Yeah.
involved with that. So we were completely on board. And then once just that impetus of that idea occurred, then everybody started to get their ideas flowing. And that's the way things work at Impact Wrestling. It's not just like, hey, one person's idea and they say, here's what you have to do. It's like an idea gets presented and then everybody gets to jump in. So like myself and Eric and the producers and the writers involved all started to chat and came up with what I think is one of the most creative and unique passing of the torch moments in wrestling history. So
I loved it.
pretty cool, man. Thank you. I've heard nothing but the same since I've got back out in the road since it's happened. I have wrestling fans, other wrestlers coming up to me and genuinely saying to me, they're like, that is like one of the coolest, if not best thing I've ever seen on wrestling. And they're not blowing smoke. So that's a pretty big compliment to receive from people saying that's the best thing I've seen ever. And I brought my wife into the room and she's not even a wrestling fan. And I'm like, hey, honey, you have to watch this. Watch this. And they're like, what is going on? And
Yeah.
like they get drawn in. So yeah, man, I appreciate the compliment. I'm very, very proud of it.
Yeah, I think Impact Wrestling, for as long as it's been around, since around 2000, 2003, with the Wednesday night pay-per-views and all that good stuff, there has always been, let's go off-site. When Impact goes off-site from where the arena is, it always brings out something extra. You've seen it before with cinematic matches from other organizations, but Impact Wrestling's been doing this for like 20 years. And then again, you
Yeah.
adding another chapter to the off-site segments for Impact Wrestling, outstanding work. And I think that now that you have the design, you have two members, obviously Alan Angels, and you have other members joining possibly as well. Is there going to be more people piling into this group, making it bigger, stronger?
Well, I mean, you don't get to choose to be a part of the design. The
Mm.
design chooses you. And right now, the chosen few are myself, Angels, and Khan. And there's a common thread with us, even though it might seem like, wait, what's the connection with these guys? Maybe they're like a mishmash of guys that don't really fully understand their connection. But the common thread with all of us as wrestlers is we all have a chip on our shoulder, and it's the same chip. Khan has been in a team element in a faction before, but never been given the focus and given the opportunity and said, here's, you get to be the focus and the star of this.
Yeah.
Run with it. He's never had that opportunity, and he's so talented. He hasn't been given the chance to show the world just how talented he is. Angels, the exact same. He has got so much potential and so much talent, but he's never been made the focus of what he's doing in a faction and a group moving forward, myself included. I've always done things where I'm never like the main focus of what's happening, I've never been given that opportunity. Now we all are. We're all given, hey man, you are the focus now, guys. You get to make this what you want it to be, and it's going to be as good as you guys make it. And I'm telling you, we are going to make it good. Not just good, we're going to make it great. We got some really cool, fun stuff planned that people are going to be seeing over the coming weeks with the design.
How was that transition for you? You kind of brought it up where you even have gone through many different versions of yourself. Cody Deaner, he's there for a good time. And then as time went
Mm-hmm.
on, you were a follower in Violent by Design. Now you're the leader of the design. How's
Mm-hmm.
that transition been for you? Because some people could fall instantly, but no, you've risen.
A lot of people don't know and realize. I get this from fans all the time, like, hey man, like you're really good. How long have you been doing this? And you've been wrestling for a while, right? And I say, well, yeah, I guess. And they say, oh, like maybe like 10 years, like you're really good. And I go, actually, I've been wrestling for 23 years. And they're like, what? And
Your skin cream is amazing. Where do you
that's
buy
right.
it?
That's the thing. I get the next compliment is, oh man, you do not look that old. You look so young. And well, thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
It's the skin cream, but like, so like I have a lot of experience, that a lot of other guys in my position don't have. So I've known for a long time that I'm ready for this position.
Mhm.
And I have been for many, many, many years. It's just my story is a lot different than some other guys' stories. A lot of people get handed the ball really early in their career, or they get their 10 years in. Okay, now you've earned it. Here's the ball. For me, it took 23 years for that to happen. So that just means it means that much more to me. And I appreciate it that much more because I've been scratching and clawing for 23 years for this moment. So, when you saw that dramatic moment of me holding that knife and what I was going to be doing to legit my best friend in wrestling, knowing that this means he's passing the mantle to me, which is exactly what it was. He was doing that in that moment. All the emotions and feelings that I was felt were all real. And
Wow.
I think that came across on the screen. It was real to me, man, because it's been 23 years of hard work to get to this point. So to say that it's very special and meaningful to me would be an understatement.
Right. Obviously, the hard work finally paying off. As you mentioned, some people go in, get the ball, and then they fall off and never come back again. You have been scratching and clawing all the way to the top, and here you are now. 2023 Impact Wrestling. Deaner, the design. Do I sense a world title maybe run in your picture?
Hey man, that's the trajectory. If you're following closely and following my career, it's taken a while, but I don't see why not. And I am following in the footsteps of Eric Young, and that's the cool thing, that if you've been following the story, and was really the whole impetus of me joining Violent by Design in the first place. Myself and Eric Young, our career and our path has been very, very similar. He started out as, oh, he can be really funny. Let's let him do funny stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And then no one takes him seriously. Well, he had to do something to make people take him seriously. So he did. And then when he did that, everyone started to respect him and realize, oh man, this guy's way better than we thought. And we realized, and he worked his way up and scratched and claws. And what happened? He became the world heavyweight champion. So all of those things I just said are things that are happening currently in my career. I was a funny guy. I was given this much television time and this much stuff to do on TV because ha ha ha, you can be funny. And
Right.
then I proved, no, wait, no, this guy is an amazing in-ring wrestler. I became an Impact World Tag Team Champion, and I've been proving myself on all the little stuff that I've been given. It as I knock it out of the park, I get given more and more and more. And now my cup is full, and the trajectory of what's ahead, to put on the mantle that I've been given, I see championship gold in the future. So that's
Oh
the
man.
goal in 2023, man, is that's where we're headed. That's what any wrestler should be headed towards. And if they're not, then what are you doing in the business?
True. True. But also in the future, it's hard to kill. January 13th. And now we have, right now, as I'm talking to you, these two huge, mega double main event matches. This could be the last time we see Mickie James inside a wrestling ring. And her career in Impact Wrestling has been so influential to so many women. And this could be the end. Like, what's your prediction on that matchup? Because this could go sour pretty quick for Mickie James.
Yeah, man, I struggle to even make a prediction with that. I if she doesn't win, I mean, I'm not just sad because it would mean that there's no Mickie James left in professional wrestling. It would also be because, oh, it's the end of this story, which is such an amazing story.
Yeah.
Like it's been so dramatic, and I've had the privilege of I've got to produce a couple of these matches that Mickie James has been in, so I kind of have another perspective at it as a producer, and getting to like sit down with Mickie James as a wrestler and get her into her mind as a wrestler and myself as a producer and seeing what she's doing. And I heard Eric Young say this to me, and the more I thought about it, the more I thought he's right, and I feel the same way. And that is that Mickie James is one of the best all around professional wrestlers. Period.
Yep.
You do not need to label female versus male or women's versus men's, knockouts versus heavyweight title, like whatever you want labels. Take any of those labels off. Professional wrestler, period. Mickie James has it all. So for that thought alone and what I know of what she has to bring, and not wanting to see her amazing talents come to an end, I'm hoping that Mickie James takes that Hard to Kill. That's my prediction and my hope.
Well, let's see what happens on January 13th at Hard to Kill. But this is going to be a huge night because also you have kind of the second coming of Bully Ray, and he wants
Yeah.
back the gold he once held in Impact Wrestling. And Josh Alexander has been carrying the load of that championship on his shoulders. I don't know if he can handle Bully Ray. What about you? What's going to happen? Hard to Kill January 13th, man.
Oh man, Josh Alexander's had probably the best world championship title reign in wrestling, period, but for sure in Impact Wrestling. I mean,
Yeah.
Josh Alexander there's still people. I think there's some people that maybe don't watch Impact Wrestling. If they decide I'm gonna maybe watch this Impact Wrestling show, I've heard a lot of good things about it. If they turn it on and they watch a Josh Alexander match, they are immediately going to become an Impact Wrestling fan. He is the flag bearer of this company, and it's for a reason. He is an amazing. He's a fellow Canadian, and he's an awesome, awesome, awesome wrestler. And what better story do you have as this ultimate babyface that is a flag bearer of the company, and then you got Bully Ray, probably one of the last true heels in wrestling. This guy is not afraid of heat, and I mean heat, white, hot, legitimate heat.
Oh, yeah.
Some guys are afraid of that. Bully Ray is not afraid of that heat. He is a true bully. He's a scary dude. So you got those two elements with Josh Alexander and the guy that's not afraid of heat. I can only guess what's going to happen at Hard to Kill because of that. It's gonna probably get pretty damn crazy.
I can't. It's going to be outstanding. I interviewed Bully Ray before a few months ago, and boy, did he get some heat from that.
Oh
He didn't. And as soon as you were done, he said, "You know what? You can keep all that in there." And I was like, "Oh,
oh,
okay."
did
And
he?
we aired
I
it, and
believe it.
there were some names that what he said, and I was shocked. And people responded, and it was good for everybody, I guess, because then eventually he had a storyline somewhere, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But still, good for him. Now, when I was doing some research on you, I discovered something I did not know about you. Obviously, I knew you're a wrestler. I know Cody Deaner, design, all that good stuff in the wrestling world.
yeah,
But charities, you're
yes,
you have a very big heart, my friend. Giver for charity, well, the charity you run, but yet you are involved with
yeah.
so many other charities in the world. Tell me what inspired you to do this, because this is something that I don't think a lot of fans know about, but they damn well need to.
Yeah, and I hope that they know about it, not because I want them to think highly of me, but
No,
if I want them to know about all the amazing charities that I've worked with, because that's the reason I started it. I noticed a number of years ago, just the influence that wrestlers have on wrestling fans, and for me, children specifically, because when I grew up, I got into wrestling when I was 5 years old, and ever since the age of five, I wanted to be a pro wrestler, and I looked up to them as my heroes. And as I traveled around the world, I started to meet young wrestling fans that reminded me of myself, and and kind of developed a special connection with some of these fans doing independent wrestling. I would see a lot of these fans over and over again, and I actually became friends with these kids. I'd see them every show that I did, and then I learned about them as people, because I was genuinely interested, and then learned that a lot of the struggles, personal struggles of these children that I met. One kid, his name's Christopher. He's deaf and was born deaf, and loves wrestling, but has had to deal with that for his whole life. Another child, her name's Reagan, and she's autistic, but has overcome a lot and was still able to kind of gather her strength to kind of come out in public and still go in and enjoy professional wrestling. So, and for whatever reason, was really drawn to me and was willing to talk to me, even though she wouldn't talk to anybody else. She would want to talk to me. So, these special connections I made with these kids. I decided and I learned about their story, and there was a lot of charities that help them in their life. So I started Giver for Charity just to act as an awareness campaign and a fundraising campaign, where I started to raise money for these charities by selling my wrestling merchandise and using the influence that I have in the wrestling world, and taking and gathering money and taking all that money and donating 100% to these charities that were connected and helped these young kids. So over the last number of years, I've been able to raise a lot of awareness and a lot of money for a lot of different local children's charities in my area. And that's how I've decided to do it. So thank you for asking. I'm very, very, very proud of it.
Yeah.
And if anybody goes to my website, codediener.com, you can see all the charities that I've worked with, and then you can research them yourself and see all the amazing things that they're doing in the world. If you actually take the time to talk to people and hear their story, sometimes if you have a negative view of the world, all it takes is to, give somebody some time and listen to their story, and you learn there's some really amazing people and really amazing organizations out there that are making an impact in the world in a positive way. And so I encourage people to go check that out for sure.
Well, I'm very happy that, you're doing this with your time that's away from the ring, because a lot of people might just go, come in, wrestle, go home. You're
Mm-hmm.
obviously trying to reach out to the local community that you're involved with, and that's huge, because I think there's a lot of problems in the world, but when you come down to it, your community, the bubble that you're in with the people and your neighbors and your schools, that's really what matters in life, family and friends and close, bringing everyone together. So obviously you're doing that. And I just want to say, thank you so much for doing that, because that's something a lot of people in this world, especially now, everyone talks about it, but you're doing it year round. So I just want to say thank you so much for doing that, because that's a really important thing to do.
Thanks, Steve. I agree 100%. I mean, it's if everybody just did one small thing to try to make the community that's directly around them a little bit better, then I mean, it's cliche, but it's true. I mean, the world would be a better
Yes.
place if people did that. So I agree 100%, Steve.
Right. People always want to fix the world, but you know what you gotta do? You gotta, it's a little at a time. You
Yeah,
can
man.
fix.
You start in your home, right? You can't
Yep.
change the world unless you can change your home. So you start in your home and you try to make your home the best and your family the best, and then you can work your way outwards.
Of course.
And I'm very proud of the work I've done with the Give for Charity and the kids that I've been able to do fundraising with and be able to make some positive changes. So again, thanks for asking and
Of
bringing that up. I
course.
appreciate it.
Of course. Someone might be like, so why did you hurt Eric Young in that prison cell? Which I did start with, of course, but you have to talk about, because that was craziness. That was craziness. But I love it so much. Remember, Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill is January 13th. But let's throw out one last question. Predictions 2023. What's going to happen in Impact Wrestling? Because so much has already happened in 2022. 2023.
I mean, let me just give you this general statement. Impact Wrestling is only going to get better. And to look back on what we've done as a company in 2022, you might think that that's not even possible, because 2022 was a standout year for Impact Wrestling. We got through the pandemic and the kind of the hardships of that era of having to do these empty venues, and kind of just, we got through it. We still put out so much good content. But then once we got out of that and we're able to let the fans back in, oh man, then the ball started to roll, and now it's continuing to roll. And 2023, there's already exciting things on the horizon. Like, we're going to be coming back to Canada, which we haven't been able to do for like 3 years. We're going to be coming back to Windsor in March, which is an area that's close to my heart. I've been wrestling in Windsor for a couple decades. So coming back to Windsor is very exciting, and coming back to some of these places we haven't been able to wrestle. I know that the energy is going to be through the roof. And when the fans' energy gets added to the energy and synergy of what's already been created with the amazing roster and Impact Wrestling, then that is like a powder keg of excitement, and it's going to be an explosion. And you're going to see some cool, unique, different things from Impact Wrestling, as you saw with what we talked and started with mine.
Yeah.
But the segment you saw with me is definitely outside the box thinking. You're going to see some more creative outside the box thinking with Impact Wrestling moving forward in 2023.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I don't know why. We're going to wrap this up now, but I remember when James Storm pushed Mickie James under a train. That's all I have to say about that. But Dana, thank you so much for being here on 10 Count. It was a pleasure talking about you, your charity, the transition you've been in, the road you're on. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I've been Steve Fall. He's been Diener. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.